Other than that, I think we're ready. So all of those of you who have problems with your iPhone apps or Windows or anything like that, we're here to talk about patches. I know, had to do it. All right, I will turn this over to the two esteemed experts on patches. These are the guys that Gus and I went to when we did our book on the price guide of every known Star Wars item. They've really filled up our patches section much better than it would have been if we had just gone by my lame collection. So, Ken Tarleton, Tony D'Amata, take it away, guys.
Thanks, Simon. So,
thank you very much.
So this is who we are, Ken.
I am Ken, also known as the Elvis Ripper. Sorry I'm not dressed up today. I'm not feeling that well. It was a late night last night, so I'm going to wear the glasses today.
All right, I'm Tony D'Amata. The oddity stuff that most people don't think about, like watches and 8-tracks and oddity stuff most people don't think about.
So have an odd focus.
Very unique focus stuff.
Odd, diverse focus.
Yes. Ironically enough, I had a whole patch site that I took down about a month ago because I didn't like the way it looked. I'm redoing it, and then I decided to do this, and ironically I don't have it up. But I will, if you go to my site, I will have it back up, hopefully within a couple months, and all redone. And
if anybody's ever been to my site, I have, well, mainly I have photos of me with girls and bitches. But also, if you find it, there's most of my patch collection was scanned. I had updated it to do the Gus and Duncan book, and then since haven't scanned patches, which is another 600 or 700 patches that I need to scan, which is horrible. Not a date. All right, Tony, let's get this thing started.
All right. So why patches? Why would anybody want to collect patches?
Idiots. Well, futile. It's futile effort. I want them all. Well, how about you, Tony?
Want all my reasons? Yeah. All right, well, like some of the large range of interest, you can have a broad range of stuff, whether you just collect, there's lots of the 501st guys do all the stormtroopers. There's Boy Scout patches that have been out since the late 70s. There's just the licensed stuff. If you're just into the licensed stuff, there's tons with just Vader on them. I mean, there's such a broad range of things that you can collect that you can add to a focus. Like if people are Vader,
that's the point right there. Star Wars patches is a focus inside of Star Wars collecting. If everybody's heard the word focus before, you can't collect everything. If you want to collect everything with Star Wars on it, Steve Sansweet can't even do it. Okay, I've been to his house. He can't. But it's a focus, and then inside that focus, you can get even more focus because there are so many Star Wars patches that I'll never even have.
Yeah, so it's an interesting thing, and we meet a lot of the guys that just collect like Vader stuff. It's all action figures, it's all this and that, and then we show them some of the things that, like patches and other areas, and they say, I never even knew those existed, and then they start getting into that stuff to add to their focus, to broaden it out a little bit, to make it more interesting. So there's always, you can either collect patches as a focus, or characters of patches, or, like I said, or just the licensed stuff if you just wanted that, or fan-made patches, the club patches, things like that. So there's a huge range of stuff that you can add to your focus or add to your collection that's real inexpensive to do. Oh yeah, that's my second one, inexpensive. A lot of patches are very inexpensive. I mean, you can get a patch anywhere from $5 to $10, and I mean, just look on eBay. When we first started collecting about a decade ago, patches were very expensive to make. Not many people did them, and you had to do large runs of them to make it worthwhile. Now there's tons of websites out there that you can just send an image to, and they can make them for almost nothing. You can get 500 patches made up for almost nothing. And so,
well, about $500.
Well, maybe a little bit more. But relatively speaking to what it used to cost to make patches, and the quality has been exponentially better since. So, yeah, they're relatively inexpensive to collect.
They are easy to store,
and they're very easy to store.
1,000 of them.
I started counting mine for this to look for stuff I wanted to scan, and when I hit 350, I stopped because I got tired. So, and they're all in either bins or something, and I actually started to put them in the trading card slots, the different size panel, the different size clear sheets, and I had 2 or 3 binders filled up, and I got tired of doing that and just started putting them in bins.
Actually, these guys like to use the CD cases.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
And they fit real nice in there because a lot of the patches are good 4 inches sometimes, or odd shape.
Yeah. So most of them fit inside that container. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the licensed patches, the Star Wars fan clubs. Okay, so anybody who's seen some of the patches?
Earliest versions here.
Yeah, these were all made by a company called Factors right after the movie came out. If you notice, one of my favorites is the Darth Vader Lives patch, and they spelled Vader wrong. So somebody in quality control jumped the gun on that one and didn't catch the typo. So that's a real great piece.
There's also variations in these license patches too. Some of them didn't come with the copyright logo on it.
Before the copyright, the 2 Brotherhood of the Jedi Knights patches, they're 2 different sizes actually. Looking at them, they don't, but they're actually 2 different sizes. So they made one run of one, and then I guess they forgot the sizes they used, and they made a different run. So there are 2 different versions. Yeah, the May the Force be with you patch. These are all, and you can still find these rather inexpensively, and sometimes even on the packaging. Factors put them on a bright yellow card with a little bubble on it, and they were in there, and you can find them, and they look really sharp in a collection. These are some of the newer ones that last 10 years or so. Some of the licensed stuff out of the last 10 years. Some of from the video games, and the top 2 I think I remember getting at Star Tours.
Yeah.
A while back.
Yeah, Disney.
So yeah, they're still making them out. We just went to the Endor thing last night, and of course the first thing I looked for was patches, and the gift shop didn't have any. So
get that.
Here's some of the fan club patches. The 2 on the left were reversed, that were given out during when you're in the Star Wars fan club. You get that mailing. They'd mail you the big package of information with the postcards and a patch and all that.
Which they're still doing.
Yeah.
Join Hyperspace just to get a patch.
I have a few more later on.
It's $15 or something, $20.
I love that. I love the one in the middle.
The exclusive patch.
The 10-year one with Luke on the Tauntaun. That's one of my favorites. And the one on the right was a fan club patch, but it was a reproduction of one of the cast and crew patches from Empire Strikes Back. And we'll show you the difference between the 2, but yeah, so these are some of the earlier fan club patches. Some more of the earlier ones, the Revenge and the Return. Different, of course, they printed up the Revenge ones before they decided to change the title. And then, so some of those are still in circulation, and then it went to the Return.
The deal with those patches, those 2 patches there, is they actually still make them. I mean, there are bootlegs out there, but they actually still license those. They've been licensing them for years. And it's hard to tell what is vintage and what is new.
Yeah, some of these are really tough to determine if they're vintage or not. And sometimes you got to look at the backing. Some of the newer ones have that kind of waxy backing to them.
Yeah.
If you find ones that are the straight cloth backing,
it looks too good to be true. It's
yeah. So if you find the ones with like the cloth backing on them, those are usually older. They didn't start doing that waxy stuff until later.
If anybody has that bottom patch, I still need it.
I do, but you can't have it.
All right, move on.
All right. So here's some more of the fan club patches. The one on the top left is only about the size of one of the medallions we gave away at the last thing. It's about maybe 1.5 inches in diameter, and there is 2 different versions of it, slightly different in the shape of the lettering. The 2 Lucasfilm fan club patches, and then here's some of the bottom left one was I think 85, the Lucas fan club patch, and then the rest are more recent. I've seen there's a seller down on the floor that's got a big stack of the Bantha Tracks ones. That's great.
The last 2 are the recent. Some of the recent years, the Hyperspace or fan club patches.
It also shows how the quality of them has gotten better over the years. Like the Yoda one is really nice, and the Bantha Track ones are really nice too. They did a really good job on them. All right, so these are pretty rare. They're reproduced a lot, and you have to be real careful. Like the one in the center especially, there's lots of them out there. Lots of people can remake them. But these were, the one on the far left was a sweepstakes prize from Dixie Cup, and only 1,000 of them are out there, and I would bet they're in collection somewhere, or they were just thrown away or lost in a box somewhere. It's great because it doesn't have the trademark information, and it was a giveaway. It was a prize. Same thing with the one in the center, Empire Strikes Back, third prize, sweepstakes prize. If you remember, I think one of the panels earlier for displays had a mock-up of the sweepstakes itself, a big poster of the sweepstakes. And the right-hand one was just an internal patch that Kenner gave out for Return of the Jedi. And I have a thing later on in the slideshow to show a lot of the copies and reproductions of that. So that one, there's lots of those out there. So if you decide to try to find that one, you have to be very careful because there are many, many different versions out there. And if somebody says it's an original, you have to do your homework to find out if it is, because it's very hard to find.
I mean, if somebody's offering it for $5, you can't go wrong. You know, if you just want to add that particular.
Yeah, look at the source of where it's coming from. You know, somebody, if somebody has the bona fides and says, "Oh yeah, I have it from this person's collection," then you might be able to trust them. But if it's some guy on eBay selling it for $10, I don't think it's the real one. And we added some of the Star Tours patches. The top two were just ones you could.
Are those the ones they wear in the uniform?
Yeah,
right?
the uniform patches. Tried to get one last night off someone, but she didn't want to give it to me.
Yeah. I've seen whole outfits on eBay. That's about the best way to get them.
Yeah, the whole jumpsuits, they end up, but they're hard to find because apparently when the people have to turn them in every night so they can't take them home.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. And then some of the licensed stuff. And this one down on the lower left is interesting because it's not on a backing of anything. So I'm not actually sure what it came from.
I found it on eBay.
Yeah, it looked like it was supposed to be sewn onto something else, or we don't even know what it's from, but we thought it was pretty neat.
That center one's kind of cool because it doesn't say Star Wars, but it is Rex.
Yes, it's a Euro Disney patch.
Yeah, Euro Disney patch.
Nice. Here's some of the cast and crew stuff. Remember I showed you the one earlier. If you look at this one, it's a little bit wider. And the edge, well, it's called the marrow. This didn't have that raised edge like a lot of patches have now. Most have patches have now.
You know what the marrow is, where they wrap it around from the front to the back, the marrowed edge.
Yeah. This was just sewn. The border was just stitched. It's a stitched border all the way around. So that's one of the ways you can tell one of the real ones from the fakes. And the same thing with the backing. It's a straight cloth back. It's not that sort of waxy stuff. The one on the left was the old style, like McQuarrie Star Wars crew patch, and then the bottom two were cast and crew with the one on the right, where the guys were in Norway. Yeah. And whenever you see behind the scenes shots of the guys filming out in the snow, they have the big blue jumpsuits. Those patches are all over it. So those are great.
Blue with the orange stripes.
Yeah.
Good stuff to have.
Yeah. If you can find it, there is someone downstairs selling it. There's someone downstairs selling some of those, but here's some of the more recent cast and crew stuff. The two on the right were from episode 1. There's a set of 9 of those, and they came with a little card for island employees saying, give them away, burn them, do whatever you want with them, have fun.
Those aren't too hard to find. Actually.
No, you can still find those sets. They're available.
There are some of those bootlegged, but they're easy enough to find the full set with the Lucasfilm.
Well, the bootleg ones out there don't have any of the writing on them.
Yeah.
They don't have the ILM FX crew, so if somebody says it is one, if it doesn't say the ILM
pretty
FX
easy
crew,
to tell.
Yeah.
Easy to
but
tell.
other than that, the artwork's identical. So if you like the artwork, you can get them pretty cheap. If you want the actual cast and crew stuff, you're gonna have to spend a little more for it.
The top one.
Those are the small octagonal.
Yeah, those are very small patches, very small.
Those are also cast and crew. Each, I can't remember how many there were in the set. There's like 9 different, I think about 8 or 9 different groups of these smaller patches, and each one also had a little unit name.
Little rocker.
And the rockers are impossible to find. But these sets, you can find them from time to time, and each one had to deal with a different department, and then in that department they had a patch set, and so.
Episode 2, right?
I think it was episode 2, yeah.
I think so.
And the bottom one on the left is the Vader in Flames.
Very hard to find.
Yeah, that one's pretty hard to find too. But these are some of the stuff that's out there for cast and crew. All right, so we're going to get into some of the collecting the club patches. All right, so here's a big group of the DC collecting clubs patches. These are, hey, we got some DC members. All right. So the clubs have really come along. They make such great patches, and they're so detailed and so unique in some of the stuff they come up with.